So I'm going to show you how to practice some of the gestures for the trackpad. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to go to Finder, and we're going to find any file that is listed, and we're just going to tap it with 2 fingers. By tap, I mean more like click it with 2 fingers. And when we do that, the pop-up window shows up so that we can access information about it or do something with it. So that's quite convenient. It's the equivalent to right-clicking on a PC, or if you were on an Apple computer, you could also do Control single click. So that's convenient. The next thing, we're actually going to open up the PDF I had you download by double-clicking with just 1 finger. And we're going to practice some of the things. The first thing, you can scroll up and down on this with 2 fingers. So you scroll up and down. The next thing you can do is for zooming. There's 2 ways to zoom. I find one way a little bit easier than the other, but one way is to double tap, and sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. There it was. And then you can double tap out. But the way that I like zooming in more is when you just use 2 fingers to zoom in and out as shown in the diagram, so you can kind of see the whole document. It's just a quicker, easier way to zoom in and out on a document. The other thing that we can practice with the PDF, and you can do this with photos as well, is you can actually rotate something. So say you're on a page and you want to rotate, you use those 2 fingers and you can actually rotate the page around. This is not one I use that often, but still, if you're more kind of inclined to do that rather than using a mouse, that is the way that you'll rotate. So those are what we're going to practice with that. We're going to actually keep this open. And we're going to open a couple of other things so that we can see how the other apps work. We're going to open Safari, and we're actually going to go to View and make this full screen. Now you notice when it goes to full screen, we don't see our bar automatically, but if we just hover up here, it'll come back to us. But in order to swipe from this full screen to get back to our desktop, we're going to use, you can use 3 or 4 fingers to swipe back and forth between applications that you have at full screen. So there, I've swiped back and forth, and you're able to access, multiple things. And you could do this with several things. We could open up iTunes and have it full screen as it opens up, and you can just swipe back and forth to different applications using 3 fingers on your trackpad. The next thing we're going to do is you got your desktop cluttered up with stuff and you want to just see your desktop. There's the gesture where you take the thumb and the 3 fingers and you push outward. And then to bring it back, you bring it back in. So that's kind of an interesting way to do that. We're going to go back to Safari and practice one. Now this one's kind of different on different computers I found. If you want to see all the tabs that you have open at once, for me it works where you take the thumb and the finger in the middle of the trackpad and you just push inwards. Okay. Now you notice I accidentally zoomed in because I zoomed in the first time, just like I would on a PDF document. But if you want to see all of them, you push inwards, and then you can click which one you actually want to open. So practice that. And then the other thing is when you actually want to see all of your the launch pad. So for that, we're actually going to do our 3 fingers and thumb moving inwards, and then we can see all of our different applications. And if we want mission control, we're actually going to do 3 fingers going up. And now we see the windows we have open on our desktop, but we also see the actual things that we have open in full screen. So this is just some of the different ways you can practice. There are other gestures that you can play around with, but if this video helps you, then I'm glad. But I know it is confusing. If you have questions, just let me know.